The ultimate question, what if you could wake up 100 years in the future? Just imagine it for a moment. You close your eyes today on August 9th, 2025, and when you open them again, the world is, like, utterly transformed. The year is 2125. Flying cars might finally be a reality, not just a science fiction anymore. Humans may have walked on Mars or even set up a permanent colony there, looking back at Earth as a pale blue dot. The diseases that trouble us today, cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, these could be distant memories, totally cured by technologies we can barely even imagine right now. But hey, this isn't just a daydream or the plot of some movie. It's actually the central promise, the grand and audacious hope of a field of science called cryonics. It asks a really profound question. Can we press pause on life itself? The idea of skipping through time, of cheating death just to witness the marvels of tomorrow, has totally captivated the human imagination for centuries. We tell stories about it, from Rip Van Winkle to Buck Rogers. But cryonics, well, it tries to take this fantasy and ground it in the physical world. It's a bold declaration that death, as we understand it, might not be an absolute end. It proposes that the information that makes you, your memories, your personality, your consciousness, is stored within the physical structure of your brain. And if that structure can be preserved perfectly, then maybe, just maybe, you could be brought back. Cryonics is, honestly, a gamble of cosmic proportions. It's a bet placed on the ingenuity of future generations. So, when you hear the word cryonics, your mind probably conjures up images of people being frozen solid like Han Solo in carbonite or something. But the reality is, honestly, way more delicate and scientifically nuanced. Cryonics isn't about freezing, at least not in the way you might freeze a block of ice. In fact, the formation of ice crystals is actually the single biggest enemy of the process. Think of a strawberry you put in the freezer. When you thaw it out, it just turns to mush. Why does that happen? Well, it's because the water inside its cells expanded as it froze, forming sharp ice crystals that shredded the cell walls from the inside out. Now imagine that happening to the trillions of delicate cells in your brain. That would be a catastrophic, irreversible end. The true goal of cryonics is cryopreservation. It's a high-tech process designed to bring a body to a stable, preserved state at extremely low temperatures without causing this kind of cellular damage. The technical term for this is vitrification. Instead of freezing, vitrification turns the water inside the cells into a glass-like solid state, totally avoiding the formation of destructive ice crystals. It's a bit like creating a perfect biological statue, where every cell, every tissue, and every neural pathway is locked in place, unchanged. The journey into a cryopreserved state is, honestly, a race against time, a meticulously choreographed procedure that needs to begin, ideally, within minutes of legal death. The first step is rapid cooling. The team uses an ice bath and other methods to lower the patient's body temperature as quickly as possible. This slows down the metabolic rate and reduces the brain's need for oxygen, buying precious time and minimizing damage to those delicate neural structures. Next comes the most crucial part of the procedure, replacing the body's blood and water with a cryoprotectant solution. This is honestly the magic ingredient that enables vitrification. Think of it as a medical-grade antifreeze. The cryoprotectant solution pushes out the water from the cells and tissues, and its unique chemical properties allow it to cool to incredibly low temperatures without forming ice crystals. This process, called perfusion, can take several hours. It has to be done carefully and precisely to make sure the solution reaches every single part of the body, especially the brain, which is really the primary focus of preservation. Once the perfusion is complete and the body is saturated with cryoprotectant, the deep cooling begins. The patient is slowly and carefully cooled over several days using a computer-controlled system. The temperature is gradually lowered to about minus 196 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature of liquid nitrogen. The final step is the long-term care. The patient is placed inside a large, vacuum-insulated container called a dewaar, which is kind of like a giant thermos flask. They're stored upside down as a safety measure to make sure that if there was ever a leak, the head, containing the precious brain, would be the last part to be affected. Perhaps the most famous and widely misunderstood case is that of the baseball legend Ted Williams. When he died in 2002, his body was cryopreserved at the Alcor Life Extension Foundation in Arizona. The story became a media sensation, filled with family disputes and dramatic headlines. Williams, one of the greatest hitters in baseball history, became the poster child for cryonics, bringing the concept from the realm of science fiction into the public consciousness. One of the most pervasive myths, often linked to another giant of his time, is that Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen. The story goes that the visionary creator of Mickey Mouse and Disneyland had his body placed in a secret cryo chamber deep beneath the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, waiting to be reanimated. This is a wonderfully imaginative tale, but completely false. Walt Disney was cremated in 1966, 2 days after his death, and his ashes are interred at a cemetery in Glendale, California. The first person to be cryopreserved was Dr. James Bedford, a psychology professor who died of kidney cancer in 1967. His preservation was a pioneering, albeit primitive, effort by today's standards. It was a rushed affair organized by a small group of enthusiasts. Yet his body remains in cryopreservation to this day at Alcor, making him the oldest resident of the cryonics world. His case is a landmark in the history of the movement. The biggest question in cryonics isn't freezing, it's revival. Can we actually bring someone back? As of now, the answer is no. No human or mammal has ever been revived after cryopreservation. It's still a one-way street. The first hurdle is rewarming. How do you safely warm a vitrified human body without cracks or damage? It's a huge engineering challenge. Even if we solve that, the chemicals used to prevent ice are toxic at normal temperatures. Reversing this is another major obstacle. Overcoming these barriers would require future technology, like nanorobots to repair cells and remove toxins, far beyond what we have today. And even then, revival would mean curing the original illness and reversing aging. It's all still theoretical. Still, science is making progress. We've vitrified and rewarmed small organs like a rabbit kidney and transplanted them successfully. We've even revived tiny creatures like tardigrades after decades frozen. Small steps, but steps forward. Why would someone choose to be cryopreserved? The motivations are as diverse as the people who make this choice. For many, it is a profound love of life and a deep curiosity about the future. They see all the wonders that science and technology have unlocked, from the internet to gene editing, and they simply want to see what comes next. They are not necessarily afraid of death, but they are passionate about life and the human adventure. For others, the decision is more personal and emotional. It might be the hope of being reunited with loved ones who have also chosen cryopreservation. Families sometimes sign up together, hoping to continue their journey as a unit in a distant future. For those facing a terminal illness with no current cure, cryonics can offer a sliver of hope where modern medicine offers none. It transforms a certain end into a possibility, however remote. However, the choice raises complex ethical and philosophical questions. Is it a selfish act? Critics argue that the resources spent on preserving a few individuals could be better used to improve life for the many who are alive today. There is also the question of identity. If you were revived 500 years from now, with all your memories intact, but in a world where everyone you knew is gone and society is completely alien, would you still be you? Could you cope with such profound psychological dislocation? Furthermore, what responsibilities would a future society have to these cryo-refugees from the past? The decision to be cryopreserved is not just a personal medical choice. It is one that could have far-reaching implications for future generations, asking them to bear the burden of our hope. While full human revival remains a distant dream, the science of cryopreservation is advancing, with breakthroughs inching us closer to cheating the cold. Scientists draw inspiration from nature, like the wood frog which survives being frozen solid, but the real key may be technology. Imagine nanobots injected into the body to repair ice damage at a cellular level. While it sounds like science fiction, researchers are already developing these molecular machines. The rewarming challenge is also seeing breakthroughs. A new method uses magnetic nanoparticles to heat the body uniformly from within. In 2017, this technique rewarmed a rabbit brain without damage, a major milestone, proving one of cryonics' biggest hurdles may be solvable. So will science ever bring the frozen back? We don't know. The path is challenging, but betting against human ingenuity is often a losing game. What do you think? Ultimate folly or ultimate hope? If you love exploring big ideas, subscribe to Dream Intel. We have more to explore together.